The world is full of unexplained natural phenomena and unbelievable mysteries. Also, there are many puzzles invented by the people themselves. In this video we will explain about the top 5 unsolved mysteries in the world. 1. Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is the best-known name given to an unidentified serial killer generally believed to have been active in the largely impoverished areas in and around the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. The name Jack the Ripper originated in a letter written by someone claiming to be the murderer that was disseminated in the media. The letter is widely believed to have been a hoax and may have been written by journalists in an attempt to heighten interest in the story and increase their newspaper's circulation. The killer was called the Whitechapel Murderer as well as Leather Apron within the crime case files, as well as in contemporary journalistic accounts. The large number of attacks against women in the East End during this time adds uncertainty to how many victims were killed by the same person. 11 separate murders, stretching from April 3, 1888 to February 13, 1891, were included in a London Metropolitan Police Service investigation and were known collectively in the police docket as the Whitechapel Murders. The surviving police files on the Whitechapel murders allow a detailed view of investigative procedure in the Victorian era. A large team of policemen conducted house-to-house inquiries throughout Whitechapel. Forensic material was collected and examined. Suspects were identified, traced, and either examined more closely or eliminated from the inquiry. Police work follows the same pattern today. More than 2,000 people were interviewed, upwards of 300 people were investigated, and 80 people were detained. Another intriguing aspect of the case is the number of letters that were sent to the authorities that either purported to come from the killer or else offered suggestions on how the perpetrator of the atrocities might be brought to justice. The most famous of all these letters, and the one that gave the murderer the name that has ensured the longevity of his legend, was the missive sent to the Central News Office in late September 1888. What all this shows is that interest in the Jack the Ripper crimes increases with each passing year and, with so many dedicated researchers and interested parties on his trail, the day may yet come when we see a definitive naming of the culprit responsible for this long-ago murder spree. 2. Kryptos. Kryptos is a sculpture by the American artist Jim Sanborn that is located on the grounds of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, in Langley, Virginia. Since its dedication on November 3, 1990, there has been much speculation about the meaning of the 4 encrypted messages it bears. Of the 4 messages, the first 3 have been solved, while the 4th message remains as one of the most famous unsolved codes in the world. The sculpture continues to be of interest to cryptanalysts, both amateur and professional, who are attempting to decipher the 4th section. The artist has so far given 2 clues to this section. The first person to announce publicly that he had solved the first 3 sections was Jim Gilligley, a computer scientist from Southern California, who deciphered these sections using a computer, and revealed his solutions in 1999. The NSA also claimed that some of their employees had solved the same 3 parts, but would not reveal names or dates until March 2000, when it was learned that an NSA team led by Ken Miller, along with Dennis McDaniels and 2 other unnamed individuals, had solved parts 1 to 3 in late 1992. The third piece of the text, K3, is associated with the quote from the diary of anthropologist Howard Carter, who has opened the tomb of Tutankhamun in 1922. The phrase ends with the following words, "Can you see anything?" The last part, called K4 and containing 97 characters, is still unsolved. The authors confessed that this part was made especially complicated. In honor of the 20th anniversary of the creation of the monument, in November 2010, Jim Sanborn decided to give a hint. He pointed out the 6 letters from the 64th to the 69th, which formed the word Berlin, the name of the capital of Germany. He called this word an important key to the whole sculpture. Though, it still hasn't helped to reveal the mystery of Kryptos. 3. Monster Loch Ness. In folklore, the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is an aquatic being which reputedly inhabits Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. It is similar to other supposed lake monsters in Scotland and elsewhere, and is often described as being large in size, with a long neck and one or more humps protruding from the water. Popular interest and belief in the creature has varied since it was brought to worldwide attention in 1933. Evidence of its existence is anecdotal, with few disputed photographs and sonar readings. The creature commonly appears in Western media where it manifests in a variety of ways. The scientific community regards the Loch Ness Monster as a being from folklore without biological basis, explaining sightings as hoaxes, wishful thinking, and the misidentification of mundane objects. The word monster was reportedly applied for the first time to the creature on May 2, 1933 by Alex Campbell, water bailiff for Loch Ness and a part-time journalist, in an Inverness Courier report. On August 4, 1933 the Courier published a report by Londoner George Spicer that several weeks earlier, while they were driving around the loch, he and his wife saw the nearest approach to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I have ever seen in my life trundling across the road toward the loch with an animal in its mouth. Letters began appearing in the Courier, often anonymously, claiming land or water sightings by the writer, their family or acquaintances or remembered stories. The accounts reached the media, which described a monster fish, sea serpent, or dragon and eventually settled on Loch Ness Monster. In 2003, the BBC sponsored a search of the loch using 600 sonar beams and satellite tracking. The search had sufficient resolution to identify a small buoy. No animal of substantial size was found and, despite their high hopes, the scientists involved admitted that this proved the Loch Ness Monster was a myth. There are many theories surrounding the Loch Ness Monster legend. One enduring idea is that it is a relic from the dinosaur age, a plesiosaur. However, without a viable population it seems unlikely that such a creature could exist there. Another enduring theory is that the monster doesn't exist and that sightings of the creature can simply be put down to people looking too hard for something that isn't there and interpreting everything from wicks in the water to floating logs as evidence of the beast. 4. The Babushka Lady. The Babushka Lady is a nickname for an unknown woman present during the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, who might have photographed the events that occurred in Dallas Dealey Plaza at the time President John F. Kennedy was shot. Her nickname arose from the headscarf she wore, similar to scarves worn by elderly Russian women. Babushka literally means grandmother or old woman in Russian. The Babushka Lady was seen to be holding a camera by eyewitnesses and was also seen in film accounts of the assassination. The Babushka Lady never came forward. The police and the FBI claim they did not find her, and the films shot from her position never turned up, despite a request by the FBI to local photo processors that they would be interested in any pictures or films of the assassination. In 1970, Beverly Oliver claimed to be the Babushka Lady and that her camera had been confiscated by the FBI on the day of the assassination and never returned. At first this seemed to be the solution to the mystery, until Oliver identified the camera she had used, which was a model that had not been in production until several years after the assassination. Similarly, witnesses who had been standing near the Babushka Lady stated Oliver was not nearby. Additionally, analysis of the photos that included the Babushka Lady seemed to indicate a woman much older and heavier than Oliver, who was 17 and slim in 1963. Whatever happened to the mysterious Babushka Lady, who was seen in pictures and in the film of the assassination? If we found out who is she, her film would offer invaluable evidence if it could be located today. The problem is the Babushka Lady and her film vanished from history. 5. Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, where a number of aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Most reputable sources dismiss the idea that there is any mystery. The vicinity of the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes in the world, with ships frequently crossing through it for ports in the Americas, Europe, and the Caribbean islands. Cruise ships and pleasure craft regularly sail through the region, and commercial and private aircraft routinely fly over it. Popular culture has attributed various disappearances to the paranormal or activity by extraterrestrial beings. Documented evidence indicates that a significant percentage of the incidents were spurious, inaccurately reported, or embellished by later authors. The earliest suggestion of unusual disappearances in the Bermuda area appeared in a September 17, 1950 article published in the Miami Herald, Associated Press, by Edward Van Winkle Jones. 2 years later, Fate magazine published "See Mystery at Our Back Door," a short article by George X. Sand covering the loss of several planes and ships, including the loss of Flight 19, a group of 5 U.S. Navy Grumman TBM Avenger torpedo bombers on a training mission. Sand's article was the first to lay out the now familiar triangular area where the losses took place. So what caused the ships and aircraft to disappear mysteriously? There have been many research and explorations done to uncover the mystery. There is no single theory that can explain all the incidents of disappearances. The ships and aircraft could have been victims of different circumstances, and things would have happened quickly and unexpectedly. Many theories have come up from researchers and scientists trying to explain the various incidents. Since a magazine first coined the phrase Bermuda Triangle in early 1950s, the mystery has continued to attract attention. When repeated mysterious incidents of such large scale take place in the same area, it's understandable that it would spread like fire, draw large interests among people at all levels including scientists, critics and general people, and take a mammoth shape over time. Indeed, Bermuda Triangle has become a living legend. But what is the real truth behind all this? First, there is no denying that many of the incidents reported on Bermuda Triangle have actually taken place. Because a plane or ship not returning or reaching its destination is clearly recorded with official agencies concerned including U.S. Navy, U.S. Coast Guard etc. And there have been hundreds of such incidents. In few cases oil leakage, floats or wrecks could be found while in others, there were no trace of anything. This is a fact. So the question is not about whether the incidents took place at all or not. It's about how they took place. This is where explanations start getting blurred, as sometimes facts get mixed up with speculations, even with imaginations. So that is the top 5 of unsolved mystery in the world. Thank you for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.